Okay.
It's something to being recorded.
There she is.
Thank you. I just had to start the recording upstairs, so. What
Getting your steps in.
I am. I am. Okay, so let's start this meeting so we can end it quickly. This is a call to order, Conservation Commission meeting, Wednesday, March 15th, 2023, beginning at, what do we have for time? 7:08. Our roll call tonight, we have Patty Phillips, Bob Shabbat, Carol Jordan, Marilyn Schreiber, and Kathy Demers. First order of business, approval of minutes. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I move we have approved the minutes of the February 15th meeting as presented.
Okay, here a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
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 I'll have to abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay, thanks, Marilyn. Okay. All right, doesn't look like we have anybody present to speak tonight. Treasurer's report, Carol, do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, I actually, we have a couple of bills, well, a couple of expenses that we have now have figures for. The chestnuts were ordered. Kathy, do you know if they've been received yet? I was going to
No,
ask.
they have not. They're probably going to be shipped on April 1st.
Okay, so that's what, because I just want to, I'll email Jackie then and ask her to let me know as soon as they're received in satisfactory condition. And I'm ready. I have the bill ready to present once that happens. And then there's $200. Bill was for $96.40. And the estimate was $100. So we came in right at the right price range. And the signs of all kinds is $200 still, Kathy, 100 for each sign.
That's what Jeff told me, yes.
Yeah, so with those two encumbrances, that would mean leave us with an unencumbered balance of $890.76. So we've still got a lot of leeway for the remainder of the year.
Okay. All right. And Carol, do we need to wait to receive those chestnut trees before I can put in for reimbursement?
Oh, that's right. I have to reimburse you.
I used my credit card to purchase them. I'm, willing to wait.
Oh, wait. So we're not paying them. We're paying you.
Right.
Okay.
I purchased them on behalf of
Got
the
it. Yeah.
Conservation
Okay.
Commission with a credit card because.
Yeah. I'm just always more comfortable when the goods have been received, and that way, because if they were received not in good condition, then you would be able to put in a claim to your credit card company, that
Right.
kind of thing. I think it's best, if you don't mind, to wait
No.
until they're received in satisfactory condition.
We'll wait. And we can, okay, very good. We'll wait on that.
And let me
Okay.
remind myself that I'm reimbursing you, not paying the chestnut company.
Let's see. I just wanted to let you know that I did attend the Board of Finance meeting in February and presented our request for $1,500 for our annual budget, and there really were no questions. I mean, we didn't ask for any additional money, so there were no concerns about it. Old business, Talmadge Estate Property and Deep Open Space Award. We did receive from Deep the grant and conservation easement agreements, and our first selectman will be signing those and sending those back. Once they receive those, they should be able to wire the money, the grant of $81,250 to the town. So I think we're just about through those hoops. That's good to know.
She signed that today.
Oh, thank you. Okay, great. We ordered 2 Talmadge signs and from Signs of All Kind. And as Carol mentioned, that's going to be $200, and that will be paid, that we'll have to pay when they deliver them. Last time we had discussed a name for the trail on the new property. Split Rock Trail is what we agreed upon. And I wanted to talk to you about, coming up with some dates, maybe to start working on the trail itself, to brush it out and to blaze it. And was wondering if people had their calendars handy, if we could maybe discuss some potential days, maybe to do a little bit of work out there in April as it warms up. I'm available April 15th or 16th.
That's a Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. Mhm.
What day?
Saturday, Sunday, April 15 and 16. If people have their calendars handy, and
I couldn't do the 15th.
we would
because
go
that's the-
out and we would use some loppers and cut down, there's some small saplings that would be in the way. There's no large trees that really would be in the way of the trail itself.
That's pretty much the only weekend. I'm in Iceland that I won't be available.
Oh, how
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm not available on the 15th, but
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are people, the 22nd, so I didn't want, that's Earth Day, but how about the 22nd if I am here? Is that something that people,
yeah, I
How
can do that. Can do that
Yep.
date.
That would work.
Yeah. that would be a better day? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's a Saturday too, so which is better for me.
okay, and then we're
What
gonna,
time?
I was thinking maybe around 10 o'clock in the morning. Is that too early?
No,
Okay, so 10 o'clock on the 22nd. And I'll invite, other people that have been on Friends of Fenton Ruby Park, if they want to come out and help as well.
we'll meet in the parking area.
Yes, on Mason Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're gonna have a meeting on the 19th of April, so we'll still have
Right.
some time to look at the weather.
Right.
We can talk about what to bring for equipment and such.
Ellie, I think she helped last time. I know she's definitely interested and wants to know when the next date is.
Yeah,
And I think she must be on your list.
Oh, Ellie Lowell, yeah.
I just ran into her a couple weeks ago at the park.
she walks out there a lot with her dog, actually. Great. Okay, and we can maybe look at installing the posts for the sign and the plywood on that day. We can kind of look and see how that's working out. We do have the materials for that. Jackie's still going to be GPSing the trail itself, and so we can update the trail map. So I'll check in with her since I don't see her on the meeting tonight. And I'm going to ask if somebody might be interested in updating the brochure that we have for the Talmadge and Knowlton trails, because we're adding this new parcel in the trail. And if somebody might be interested in that, in helping out with that, that would be great.
Yeah, I might be able to do that, Kathy, but probably be best, when we have the trail in place and I've walked it. So, yeah,
Mhm.
we're talking about that it'll be
Okay.
primarily description of the trail. There's not a lot of, it's not as the kind of history stuff.
I'm sorry, say again, Carol.
Yeah,
Can you repeat that?
yeah, I could probably work on that, but after the trail is finalized and we have the name and all of that stuff. But and this will be primarily trail descriptions of the trails like the current brochure, but would include the new trail as well. And the change of name and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it does include right now, it has a map in it that shows also how the trails connect to the Blue Trail, to the Nipmuc Trail. So, once Jackie updates the map, we can update that part of the map, but maybe it could just be the backside of the flyer.
That's what I think that's what
Like it is.
we talked about, was having the text on one side, and I think we can do that fairly
Okay.
easily. But it would depend on how, I might have to check with Jackie about titleage and stuff like that. So we might be able to put the title on the map portion. We might be able to, we'll work it out, but I could do a draft or play around with it a little bit.
Okay, if you look at the map that she made up for the grant,
Yeah, it's gonna be basic, similar to that.
it would be just like, basically like that map with the new trail on it, and it would have the name of the trail on it as well.
Yeah, okay.
right.
Yes, I'll see what I can do.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carol.
You need a
And,
post hole digger?
Yeah, and a
Okay.
person that knows how to use them.
Yeah,
Yep, and knows where to put the hole where there are no rocks underneath.
no, that's always mission impossible. What plays there is being able to move 3 or 4 inches one way or another.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bob. Okay. And Chris said he'd work on some trailhead signs, just a sign that says Split Rock Trail. And if we need any kind of other signage as you go along on the trail, because there's, at one point you get up close to the top of the hill. The trail doesn't go right up on the hill itself, the loop trail, but there's
Yeah.
going to be like just a spur so you can go up the hill to the knob. So he can work on some signs for that. As far as the dedication, I still have not heard back from the Talmadge family.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, that's all right. I'll keep working on it. And if we don't hear back by our next meeting in April, because I gave them some potential dates, which included May 13th, May 20th, May 21st, May 27th, May 28th, June 10, 11, and 17 as potential dates. And what I was going to ask you, if you have your calendars handy, is if you could tell me what dates are better for you. So I just have a general idea of what might work better for our commission if we don't hear back from the family. Does anybody have some dates in May that are just no-goes on a Saturday or Sunday?
I don't really know what my schedule is gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah. Not yet.
All right, maybe by April 19th meeting, we can look at that. And if we haven't heard back, we can try to adjust that or try to schedule the dedication on a day when more of us can be there.
With those post holes, are you hung up on digging those during the work day, or can we just go out there and just dig the holes? All I need to know is where they need to be and how far apart.
Okay, well, maybe what I can do is, I can spray on the grass like an X for where both posts you could start from, Bob, and I can tell you approximately, how far apart they have to be. Once we get the sign, Chris will mount it on the plywood. And then we'll have we can kind of adjust where the posts would be.
So the sign's going to be approximately like the old one is, right?
Yes.
Insofar as size. So if I take a tape measure out there and measure between those poles, that's where I need to be.
Yep, that would work. And,
Okay.
you can kind of see when you're in the parking lot, you're going to be looking out. There's a little bit of a gap in like the stone wall. So that's where the trail would kind of start. And
Well,
just,
you have a green tag on the pucker brush a little bit further in. So you can
Right.
see, because I've walked it several times already.
right. Well, let me know too, if you plan to go out one day or, to start digging a hole, I can certainly go out there as well with you. We can kind of look at,
Yeah. All right. I
okay.
can probably confidently dig one and not have to worry about the other one where it goes, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Anything else? Does anybody have any other questions or comments about Talmadge Estate property or the deep award? Continue under property management, Fenton Ruby Park and Drobny Sanctuary. Patty, do you have any reports? You've been on the trails a lot. Thanks for all the pictures.
Oh, you're welcome. The box is empty with the guidebooks right near the Eagle Scout Bridge there at Taylor Pond. That was empty yesterday.
Yeah, I've got a few at home. I can drop those off in the next couple of days. They've been sitting there, I think, since a couple of days after our last meeting. This is the difficulty with not having in-person meetings where you can say,
Mhm.
here. you know. Should I be getting those to Bob or to Nora?
To Nora. Nora's back in town and she said she would, take responsibility for recharging both of those boxes. So I think she needs trail maps, the
Yeah.
brochure that goes with the key.
And I
Yeah.
have some copies also for the present ones for Talmadge and Knowlton that I'll check the boxes on those.
Okay, I can tell you I just filled them. So
Oh, you did, okay,
yeah, because Chris and I walk on Mason Road. So,
yeah, okay, good. So I'll just I'll get the stuff to Nora.
okay, thanks. Thanks, Carol. And Nora did contact me and say she had another meeting conflict tonight, so she couldn't be here.
Okay.
Let's see. Now, as far as a work day at Fenton Ruby Park, do we want to think about having something in April or May? Some things that we could do at the park would include, some of the trails need reblazing. And I certainly can get the trail stewards involved with that. There are some bridges and walkways or boardwalks that could use some replacing. So I don't know if we want to have something in May. With the other potential activity we can do is to brush out that second field, the one that's at the end of Taylor Pond Trail, at the opposite end, I should say, of the pond, the smaller field. That needs brushing out. So. So it
May
wasn't-
could work, right? May. Is that what
Yeah.
you're looking at? But it sounds like May, it's still too far away to pin down a day, or we should pin it down.
Well, I don't know, if we're waiting to hear from the Talmadge family on a dedication date, we might want to hold off until later, because we don't want to pick a date and that would conflict with the dedication.
Okay, so maybe let's shoot for April 19th when we're meeting again to try to pick a day, maybe in May, that we can do a work day. That would give enough time to get out the information to the volunteers. Okay. Let's see. As far as the chestnut trees, I just wanted to let you know, when Chris and I were out at the park recently, there's one chestnut growing on top of the tree, which surprised us. So I don't know how viable it is, but it probably self-pollinated. Is that what your guess would be, Bob?
Yeah, probably,
Yeah,
probably.
so,
Well, there's American chestnuts out there
Hmm.
also. So they do pollinate, and I've collected viable seeds off of the regrowths out in the woods in the past, and planted them, and they sprout next spring. So they're still susceptible to the blight, the native plants, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
do you think we should knock it down and collect it and maybe try to just plant the seeds?
Well, pull it apart and see what seeds are in there.
Okay, all right.
Wear gloves when you do that. They're really prickly.
Okay, thanks.
That outer husk is really nasty. They're like little needles.
Oh,
Wow.
geez.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. All right. Knowlton Preserve. Oh, one other quick thing, excuse me. Let me go back to Fenton Ruby. Patty, do you want to tell people about the issue you found on All Trails?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Oh, so All Trails is a widely used app all over the world. I've used it for years, and I've never thought to look for hiking trails in Willington. So I decided to look it up, and I happened to see that it said that dogs can be off leash in certain areas of the park, especially, well, on Taylor Pond. The other trails, they said they had to be on. They had Julia, they had Isabel's, they had all the other trails, Clark, and they all said you had to have your dogs on leash. But for some reason, Taylor Pond said it was okay in certain areas of that trail. But they've already corrected it. I went on, they responded pretty quickly. And I did go online and look, and it's corrected, so that was good. So,
Great, thank you for doing that and noticing it.
yeah, it was a lark.
And Chris and I did go out to take a look at the brush hogging that Public Works had done out in the field area around the stone walls and so on. And they really did quite a job if you have a chance to walk out there. I mean, some of that invasive brush was 15 to 20 feet wide, and they cut it right down. So as long as we continue to do that annually, I think we'll have pretty good success with keeping those invasives down. So that was.
You really could walk right up to the river now. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they had left a little bit of
Yeah.
vegetation there, but I know it's going to spring back pretty quickly.
Mm.
You know.
You won't be able to tell in a couple of months. It won't look like it did before, but it won't look the way it does now, which is rather shocking. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. We would never be able to do that.
No,
It's just not possible.
no.
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 They probably had fun.
It looks like they did.
I haven't seen it in person. I only looked at
Oh.
a picture, but it
Yeah.
must be kind of neat to get on a big machine like that and see before and after within like an hour or two. It must be really quite cool to notice the difference.
Yeah. They even pruned some of the trees that are along the stone walls and such. I'm sure they did that so that they, could work in there, but they pruned them in some cases. That they didn't cut the trees down, obviously, but they pruned some of the branches that might have been hanging over. So
Mm.
did that. So I will send a thank you to Troy and let him know we really appreciate that.
Oh,
Moving on
you know
to
what I-
Knowlton Preserve, Talmadge Track. The only thing I have to report on that is Conwood Forest Management Plan, the forest management plan that they did for the Knowlton and Talmadge Track. I did give them the feedback that we had discussed last meeting, and they made all the corrections and have sent us back the final plan.
Mm.
So I looked it over and they made the corrections. I'll be asking them to send us an invoice for the final amount that has to be paid. That is going to be through ARPA funds, and I will move that on to the first selectman's office, because I know her admin was working on anything that had to do with ARPA funding, and then she moves it on to the to the finance office. So Carol, just a heads up,
Yeah.
I'll CC you on that at that. Okay?
Yeah, just let me know. Yeah, because I want to keep a record of the price, for our record, since the money didn't actually flow through our account. It would be nice to be able to keep a historic record of what the cost was and all that.
Okay, I
Okay.
do. And I walked the Knowlton Trail and the Talmadge Trail recently, and things seemed okay. I don't know if anybody's been out there more recently, but in the last, few weeks. Okay. Town development. Anyone have any information they want to share? Anything you know of that's coming up?
No, it's been pretty quiet.
Okay, all right. And collaborative organizational news and communication, just reminding everybody that the Connecticut Land Conservation Council Conference is March 25th at Wesleyan in Middletown. There's still time to sign up. I know that Jackie had sent an email out to everybody after our meeting, just saying she was interested in attending if anybody else wanted to carpool. So I don't know, Carol, did she get in touch with you to say she was going to be registering?
No, and I was hoping, I was gonna, but I'll be emailing her, let me add that to my email to Jackie to see if she actually did sign up for it. We've got plenty of money to cover it. Although unfortunately we're past the original deadline for registering, so it'll be $80 instead of 65.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to go, and it's in person with with food. You know, it's the first time they've had an in-person meeting in quite a while, so. um,
Yeah, I've responded back to her email saying it sounded great. The day just didn't work for me. So,
Neat. All right, and anybody else have any information from other organizations that you want to share? I was on there was a Zoom call today for the Regional Pollinator Pathway Group. You know, the various towns in our eastern region that participate. And there's a few things coming up. They're going to be having more information, like an informational table at some of the local farmers markets and things like that. But there's nothing major that's come up right now. I'll keep you abreast of anything new I hear about.
Okay.
And regional pollinator pathway initiatives just in general. I did send an email out this week to Connie Bedan from the Wellington Girl Scouts, just asking if the Girl Scouts have any other projects related to pollinator gardens or pathways this year. I have not heard back from her. I also asked her what their plan was in terms of the garden at Fenton River Park, to see if they would be continuing to kind of maintain, you know, maybe clean out the old plants, put in any new plants if some have died, as well as whether or not they were going to be watering out there this summer. So I haven't heard back, and I'll let you know when she gets back to me.
Okay.
Open space opportunities. I have not been able to meet with the first selectman yet regarding that parcel on Burma Road. As you probably are aware, there's lots of other issues in town going on at the moment, so it's been pretty busy. It's, you know, budget season and stuff going on with the school building committee, and so I'll try to continue to see if I can get a meeting with her.
Okay.
Any other open space opportunities that people are aware of?
The logging was done on the old part of the, I'm drawing a blank right now, on Jared Sparks, their old family farm. At some point, I don't know if we want to touch base with the selectmen and maybe have them reach out to the family. That part of the family that owns that.
Not the heck, not,
No, not Hex.
no.
You mean on the right or the left, if you're going up towards the park? On the right side of,
On the right side where they just finished logging, Marilyn.
yeah, because they were logging on the left too, right before Bluebird Farm.
Huh.
Somebody else was, I just wasn't sure what side you were speaking of
Oh, yeah, that logging was done
a while ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
They,
PAL?
PALs, they still have the
Oh, yeah,
skidder
okay.
on the PALs property.
Mhm.
So I wonder if it would be worthwhile maybe reaching out to that family and seeing what their intent is with that land. It sort of seems like a good fit with the 19 acres that the town already has that abuts that parcel.
Yeah, that's that landlocked parcel, Bob, that the town owns, that abuts the Powell property, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They took that for taxes in the 30s.
Yeah.
Bob, you mentioned, you know, reaching out. I'm not sure it's something that the Board of Selectmen would necessarily do. I mean, it might be something that we certainly can start some conversation. Do you have a contact person?
I don't, but the tax assessor would.
Yeah, Bob, Bob, Chopita and Mark have any contact with the pals? That they're
They do. Actually, they bought the other half of the PAL property. So they own the land all around their house now.
oh, okay.
I can have a conversation with them And I don't know how often the brother comes down anymore.
Yeah, I was just thinking that might be a possible way of making contact might be through Mark and Trapita, since
Yeah.
they have had contact with the Powell family in the past.
Yeah. Let me have a conversation with Mark and Chapita.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay. And any other ideas or thoughts? I know that, what I'd love to see us maybe think about trying to do. I know Carol and I have had a conversation about, working on updating the open space map once we're sure about any other properties that might have had a conservation easement or such put on them. And I know Carol's thinking of working on that. But it might be nice to look again at our conservation priority map and consider maybe updating that as well, because that helps give us an idea of what parcels in town might be. It might have a lot of resource value, natural resource value, and where we might want to target efforts to connect with landowners and reach out, or even think about, how we can work with other local organizations like Joshua's Trust, who also have some goals in mind in terms of the region, some of the priority areas that they're thinking about, and maybe kind of see if there's some overlap there.
Now, that was interesting that one of the discussions at the CLCC conference, one of the workshops was on town and trust cooperation in exactly that kind of thing, and overlap. We're focusing on cooperation and acquiring of open space.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a gentleman from the Central Connecticut Farmland Trust. I believe they were involved with the property, or they had touched base with the folks up there off of Cemetery Road a number of years ago, Kathy, before that parcel was sold.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good conversation, and I might have another one with him. He works part-time down at Anything Printed. So, I happened to be in there and started the conversation about farms, dens, and things like that. And we just started chatting. So I can have another conversation and see what their outlook might be, working with town conservation commissions also.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks. All right. Anything else on open space? Willington Wire, the deadline has been extended to March 24th in terms of submittals. We had talked about at our last meeting that we might put something in about what date we would have the dedication, but that doesn't look like it's likely at this point by the 24th. So I was thinking perhaps I might write something up about what it's like to be a volunteer, or if somebody else wants to do this, I'd love to, support you in that. What it's like to be a volunteer in the Conservation Commission, as well as, some of the things that we're doing that we'd love to have new people kind of join us on this commission. So kind of an outreach to see if we can get some new members. Do you have some thoughts or ideas about that type of it'd be a short one-page article. And
Kathy, could we also maybe just put in a short blurb that's saying that we plan to have a dedication of the addition to the newly acquired addition to the Talmadge tract, and keep an eye out for dates, and we'll see what we can do about getting publicity out at the time.
okay, sure.
Yeah, because at least we could give a heads up to people that there will be a dedication of that property, and because otherwise we're going to miss it, because by the time the next one comes around, we may well be past the dedication date.
Oh, sure, yeah, because it's gonna be for April, May, and June. That's what the next Wellington Wire is gonna be about.
Well,
So-
let's hope that we can have the dedication by then. Would be kind
Yeah.
of nice.
Yeah,
This
Yeah.
this project has dragged out for so long. It would be nice to just get it off but at least give people a heads up that we were about to have the dedication of the grant funds are, you know.
yeah.
So,
We have, some good avenues, I think, for advertising it,
Yeah.
once we know the date in terms of getting things out via the town's listserv. We can put it in the digital backpack that the kids get and the parents get. And we can post it on our website. So, and we
Put
might
up
even,
posters at the lot, put up posters up at the library and
Yeah.
post office and places like that too.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
yeah,
And
and we can even
if
put
it
something in
turn,
Trailhead.
if it turns out that the family doesn't give us a date, we'll still have an event.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good,
Yeah.
because it might just not be their cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. When people are busy and they have lots of things going
Right.
and, yep. But it'd be nice to have, I think, a dedication in
Oh,
terms-
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. open the trail officially.
Yeah,
I know, and
Yeah.
also for them to have the trail, the trail. And I know that the family, know from talking with Dennis Poitras, who was part of the family, who was their attorney, that he has fond memories of tramping through that property. So I think it would be really nice if somebody would come and represent the family, and that might be perhaps something that Dennis and his wife might be interested in doing if the rest of the family's not available.
if I see him, because I see him a lot through work, I might mention it to him, because he and I have talked about it in the past, the property,
Yeah.
because he knows I'm on the commission, and I see him enough, so maybe I'll just raise the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to do, because it may be where the roadblock is that Kathleen Colbert hasn't contacted the rest of the family. And maybe if you speak with Dennis, then that maybe could, I found it's difficult to light a fire under that family.
Okay, we really want to, be aware that we're being recorded too when we're talking about these issues. So, yeah, so that would be great, Patty, if you happen to see him and ask him if that's something, he and his wife at least would be interested in. That'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Okay, communications, I checked our mailbox at the town office building. I didn't see anything. We remember for membership, we still have one regular vacancy and 2 alternates. So if you happen to think of somebody who might be interested in just coming to a meeting and seeing what we do, or coming out to some of our events, please try to keep that on your radar screen. We really need to think about how to keep things going. I mean, all of the boards and commissions in town are having a lot of trouble finding new members, and we want to make sure that our good work gets, passed along. So keep that in mind. See if you can get somebody else involved. And then the other question I had for the commission, I probably should have brought this up under Fenton Ruby Park, but do we want to think about having some other summer event this year? Barbara Clark doing another walk and talk. I wasn't sure if Jackie was going to be here. I'm not quite sure about the farm tour this year. And I know Nora also has something called the Master Wildlife Kit, because she's a Master Wildlife volunteer. And that's a kind of a big box of lots of interesting stuff that they bring out, a lot of times to the schools to show and tell with kids. I thought maybe I could ask Nora if she'd be interested in doing that at the park this year. So keep in mind, maybe doing something this summer, for the general public, like we've done in the past.
Yeah, we've certainly got the funding, and it always looks better if we spend as much of the funds allotted to us as we can. Maybe and if Nora were available to do that, that would be something a little bit different that we haven't done before. And it'd be nice to get that in before the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, okay. Any other thoughts or ideas that you want to add?
No,
Okay. All right. Well, good to see y'all tonight, and I hope you have a good month. And we'll check back with each other on the 19th next month.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay,
Great,
here.
thanks.
Motion
Take
to adjourn.
care.
so moved.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Marilyn.
Bye-bye.
Hi,
Bye, guys.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Leave your stuff on when you're done.
I've got to go turn it off.
Mute yourself and speak and see if I can hear you down here.